Here's the story of a bearish trader who was selling into every single bounce. All his orders hit the bid, such a sucker. Sometimes you buy the dip. It's the story of a bullish trader who was buying each down tick he saw. He averaged down and rarely stopped out on the edge of blowing up. Until one day they subscribed to Routine Trader and realized they can do both buy and sell. That there are two sides to Mr. Market, and beating him both ways is pretty swell. Yeah, pretty swell, so very swell. Beating Mr. Market both ways is pretty swell.
Cheers to a new trading day, retail trading team. This is Mastro coming to you live from Puppet Show slash seems to be Squeeze Central with your routine briefing. Let me get my camera going here. Okay, so what we got going on today? A mess. A mess like we have been seeing for quite a while now, so no surprise there. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here. We're going to get going with today's briefing. Okay, so execution chart. Got a lot going on. Looks like I am about to get stopped. What can you say? It's no surprise from what we've been seeing, but it's definitely a little tough on the trading front. We do not want to either accept above or below our key levels, and so we just kind of remain in this chop range. And as we move into the one second here, as we move into the macro chart, you'll get a pretty good look at why I think we're seeing this particular movement today, and maybe what we can expect as the day goes on here. So let me get all my stuff straightened out here, and we will jump into that warm-up document. So I hope everybody's having a lovely day on this Tuesday, and that you are not getting too chopped up with our current tape. We'll see what happens here as the session progresses. I'm just trying to get my act together, and I'm going to watch this tape on a shorter time frame chart. So really a key thing today I want to point out, the volume is pitiful. In fact, we haven't even hit 500,000 cards yet. That's really low, relatively speaking. Intraday looks, compared to the past couple days here, it looks all right. But really, big picture, there's not really too many participants in the market. And you're seeing that with just these extreme stop runs. So we'll see if it holds. We'll see what happens. I am looking to stay short here. We just missed my stop, so we'll hold fast until that gets hit, and something changes. So moving to the warm-up document, let's kind of go over exactly what's going on here. So the main thing that I want to point out, like I said, is that low volume. You don't see that on the warm-up document, but I think that's worth talking about. So the market's more prone to these crazy sporadic type moves that we've been seeing all morning so far. So what we do have that's a little bit different is the overnight inventory is now that down and balanced look. So what we've been seeing in these early sessions where we've been seeing those reversals is you have that up and balanced overnight inventory that gets unwound and then they buy the dip. Today you've seen that down and balanced overnight inventory. We actually had that brief push at the beginning of the day here, putting in that opening range high right at about that 48 area, one of our key levels. And from there, we have been selling off for now. So we did get that push a few seconds ago that just missed my stop. Thank the market gods for now. And we'll see if the bears can push us back low here. So this 30, let me get this out of the way. This 30, 41, 35 area that you're seeing, there's a new line here, that past trend. That 41.35 is my line in the sand today. I am tentatively bearish, assuming acceptance below, which I thought we got, hence my short position. And then obviously we get that reversal. I'm going to go back to that bullish assumption. So overnight I did have that long play, which ended up getting stopped out. That's just what happens sometimes. You can't win them all, as they say. And so that long did get stopped out overnight, and that flip short occurred right at about the market open when we started, right after we had that push and we started to accept below that 35 area. So we'll see what happens there. TPO, I'm still kind of waiting to fill in. We'll look at it in a second here. It's kind of looking like one of those neutral type TPOs so far today. I just want to give it a little time and space before making an assertion, just because of what we're going to see in the macro chart in just a second here. So watch what happens with that TPO as the day goes on. We do have that choppy type open, or that open rejection reverse. We have gone through the open again since then, by the way, so we definitely have that more open auction type look, which is just implies chop. Really nothing too crazy to look at there. It's just we do have that implication of chop until and unless we do finally accept below the major trend lines you saw on that execution chart, and that we're going to look at a little more closely on this macro chart after I get a sip of water here. So one more thing on the warm-up document before we go to that macro chart. Those are the expected move zones are 4150, 4110-ish in the SPX. Though that's kind of our range. And if you look at the past several days, we have not had a move outside that expected move in quite a bit. So be watching to see if we do get one of those today. Again, I don't know which direction we're going to go. However, as we go into this macro chart here, I'm going to show you why I think we are going to move either today or tomorrow. Although my excellent trader friend Ernie thinks we're going to have to wait for Powell, I think the chart's telling us a little something else. So levels here, update throughout the day. Bold are the most important, and I'll keep this document updated throughout the day if I haven't said that 5 times already. So let's move into the actual price action and other lovely charts we have here today, starting with the macro chart. And this is, you're seeing exactly what I mean here on the SPY. We are so coiled as to having touched both the top and bottom of our little trend line. I don't know what you would call that. We'll say the trend lines there. We have an inside day from yesterday. We're currently have an inside day from. So we have like 3 inside days going on here. So yesterday was an inside day. Today is currently an inside day relative to yesterday, and we are mashed up against those key trend lines. What does that tell me? Very simply, I think we're going to have a move today. I'm hoping it's to the downside. Looks like it might be to the downside if the bears can keep us below this 30 area, and if the bulls do not buy the dip once again. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at there. What is it? The first target remains that gap right below 408, 407, 20-ish, I think we determined yesterday. And then obviously to the upside, if we break out, watching first that gap at about 415-ish, and we'll see what happens there a little above 415. But really, it's all about these trend lines today for me. The dash trend lines you're seeing on the screen right there is going to be, how do we break? Do we break above yesterday's high, below yesterday's low? I think that the direction that we go relative to yesterday's candle is going to initiate that trend move. However, keep in mind the higher probability plays on those priority high and priority lows are those fake breaks. So the first thing we're going to look for is to see if we get that fake break at that low or high. But really it comes down to that SPY candle. Just pull up a chart, look at that SPY candle from yesterday. Highs and lows, I think, are going to be really instrumental in the next big trend move. And I do think that we are going to have a trend move one way or another sometime this week. So that's what I got going on in macro. Let's get a little more granular here. Look at our TPO. Let me make sure I like the position going on here. So we get to 27. I'm probably going to pop back to the execution chart real quick. Just kind of watch what happens at that low. See if I need to adjust stops. Love it when you just miss a stop by 1 tick. That does not happen very often. So if they do come back and get it, I appreciate the hope from the market gods for at least the routine briefing here, so we can stay in a nice happy mood. In any case, looking at our TPO chart here, if you look at those SPY, that SPY candle I'm talking about, that high and low, what do you see on the TPO chart? You see a poor high and a poor low which just kind of reinforces the significance of that area, what's going to happen. And you've been seeing that this morning as we push lower, push higher, you're going to have that aggression at the edges of value just because you have those weaker hands near those extremes, and we got to wait for one of them to capitulate. And so we're watching that poor high, we're watching that poor low for that extension. So really that's it on the TPO chart. Again, it's all about the SPY high from yesterday, SPY low from yesterday. The purpose of this chart is so that you can see the weak-handedness of the extremes. And obviously, if we do get that extension, you can see that first real target on the downside matches up with the SPY gap at 407.20-ish. So I'm looking at in the TPO chart. Let me get rid of this time and sales real quick here. So we got to go on a TPO chart, looking at volatility, trying to reclaim this 2020 area. So what does that mean? Not much, as I've been saying for several days, until we get above that 2180. Yet what that is showing is that the bears are not rolling over. As I looked at this chart last night, I thought that the bears might roll over, hence why I was so enthusiastic about that long runner. Yet they did recover this 2020 area for now. So obviously watching what happens as we push higher, more toward that 2180. Once we accept above 2180, to me, that is going to confirm that breakdown, and it'll probably correspond to that move toward that SPY gap. So that is really all to look at on volatility, in my opinion. No need to bloviate that point, as my friend Ernie might say there. So let's just go back to the execution chart. Okay, see what we got going on. It's kind of hanging out. Again, you can see these trend lines here. They correspond to the megaphone pattern that I'm sure you've all heard about by now. And we're just seeing how we navigate it. So simple enough. I'm going to watch what happens with that TPO as the day progresses here, see if we can't get confirmation of one way or another. At first, I'm going to be looking for that double distribution, assuming we do get that trend look. And then most importantly, what happens around those poor highs and poor lows. So that's going to be it for the routine briefing today. I will keep you all updated on the Twitters at Routine Trader. If you don't hang out there already, as the day develops, I will also fix that warm-up document that we talked about between the levels and the TPO as soon as things get a little more clear. I think the levels should be good. I will just add some additional ones I have to the document as they become relevant. You can see I already got them all marked up, and I'm really looking at that 4088 area if we do get the breakdown here for the first stop. So we'll see. Lots of action to occur before that happens. Still waiting, honestly, on the squeeze. About 10:40. This is the time they like to start buying that dip, and we'll see what happens relative to our key little trend lines here. So 41.35 on ES is going to be my pivot. I believe that corresponds to, yep, you guessed it, 41.20 on the SPX. So those are going to just be the key areas to watch. Nothing fancy. I think it's very clear today. The poor high, poor low, SPY high, SPY low from yesterday. Don't have to complicate it. Just got to watch the order flow and price action around those key areas as the day progresses. So if you did enjoy today's content and find the identification of the SPY high, the poor high at the SPY high and the poor low at the SPY low, please give the video a like. That does help with YouTube's algorithm, and I will appreciate it. So I'll be on Twitch right about noon for that power hour of fun. I was on there yesterday. Appreciate everybody, all two of you who came out. It was good to vibe with you, and I'll be back doing that again today for our Power Hour of Fun. And besides that, you can respond to the newsletter, which I'm going to throw out right after this video, or send out rather right after this video. Maybe you'll throw it out. And then also in the comments of this video itself, if that tickles your fancy, as they say. And so yeah, with that, I'm just going to be hanging out here, staring at the screen, praying for a move, and watching our key levels. I hope that you have an excellent rest of your day, and stay classy until tomorrow.